Hello and welcome back to Transport Fever. Thank you very much for joining me in this video, and once again you find ourselves waiting right on the edge of the platform in St. Louis. What are we waiting for? Well, you're about to see, because in this video and probably the next video, totaling a journey of perhaps 40 minutes, we're going to be taking a ride along on the brand new Great Lakes Loop, and we're going to be using the clockwise loop because I think that might just be the more interesting loop to take around. Because of the tunnels and bridges that may be involved on it. So just waiting for our train. I have no idea where the train is. I can hear something coming in. In fact, here comes the train, so make sure you tune in for the next 20 episodes, yeah, sure, 20 episodes, 20 minutes, and possibly even in the next episode to ride along on this train. And the train is just getting ready to leave St. Louis, and we've got some nice modern buildings now coming up over on the right hand side. We've got some buildings coming up which look really, really nice. I suppose if there's a nice mix of both modern and classic buildings, I'm going to really like it if it builds up like that. And obviously we've still got some classic trains, but there are some modern trains now starting to come up. You can see that the which train is that? Is that the St. Louis Philadelphia train? No, that's that green one. What's the green one? St. Louis to Ottawa. But then where does it go from Ottawa? I'm not too sure. Definitely goes into Canada. But you can see that train was waiting for us as we come along, and you can see over to the right hand side we have the freight line, the freight train, struggling to go up the hill. But it does mean that we are not going to have to worry or wait for that train. As you can see, the signal has just gone to clear for us, and we can just trot along quite happily, not having to worry about that train as it climbs and then goes over us and then comes back down to ensure that it can go to Naperville. Already doing a healthy 53 miles per hour and still accelerating. Remember, the top speed of this train is 90 miles an hour. It's still got another clear signal ahead of us, and coming up ready to pass us on the left hand side is one of the original trains, or I'd say original, but the original line trains running from Madison to St. Louis. Originally they ran from Chicago to St. Louis only, and now they run from Madison to St. Louis. Remember, this train is 232 meters long and is carrying, or consists of, should I say, one locomotive. Is it the K9? K7. K9's a dog. K7, I think. K7 Pennsylvania Railway locomotive, which looks a bit like is it a Mikado or Mikado? It looks like a Mikado, and also is hauling 8 heavyweight carriages. The train is quite old, from 1915, as well as the carriages, but like I said, because of the way this title is and the way the trains have been coming out with the mods and so on and so forth, this is probably the best way to showcase these trains. Coming up to Chicago now, we've got one of the really old signals showing how old this track is. And we've actually got one of the cargo trains running overhead, one of the diesel cargo trains, which looks absolutely beautiful, and another one of the Madison to St. Louis trains pottering along. Those trains are always full, and they are going to be possibly the next trains to be replaced. You can see a Can-Am ahead on platform, whatever platform it is. And you can also see, it looks like a New York Central train also just pulling into the platform, and a Chicago to Washington train just leaving the station. The New York Central train is going to be turning around here, whilst we are going to be continuing up through Milwaukee and Green Bay, possibly getting up to the highest speeds we get. Chicago is always a very busy station, but we are looking to make it even busier and make sure that every line is going to be profitable over the next few videos. There goes the double whistle. Next stop, Sault Ste. Marie. crossing this very interesting junction just ahead of us. And as you can see, that looks like one of the Lake Michigan Loop trains. That is in fact one of the Lake Michigan Loop trains, and another Madison to St. Louis train over on the left hand side. The line that goes off to the left is a line that just ends and terminates at Madison. And we have one of the Thunder Bay to Chicago lines, or Thunder Bay to Chicago trains, just crossing over now, causing our first stop. We also have one of the trains. Oh, we didn't even have to stop. We also have one of the planes, should I say, that looks like it's just taken off from Chicago, heading towards Thunder Bay. Those planes are going to need replacement very soon, and we're going to see what we can do with those in a later episode. Up ahead of us, you can see Milwaukee, and you can also see parts of Chicago still trying to expand out towards Milwaukee, making a very, very large metropolitan area. And it looks like we are going to have to stop at this signal, so this is our first stop. Now what we're going to be stopping for and how long we're going to be stopping for, I do not know. Well, that answers that question. We're not stopping for long at all. Opening up the taps once again. Seeing how much throttle we can put into this. Going to pass through Milwaukee now. The line is going to switch over to 4-track so that we can pass straight through the middle. Very, very busy up top. You can actually see some of our freight lines, the trucks, the Peterbilts. In fact, 3 of them in a row, which is a little bit awkward. Whilst one of the anti-clockwise Lake Michigan Loop trains passes on our left-hand side. We're now in the city of Milwaukee, just going to pass through the station. As you can see, there are a lot of passengers waiting for the what looks to be the Lake Michigan Loop line, at least in the anti-clockwise direction. In the clockwise direction it seems a little bit more empty. Passing through the station at a healthy 50 miles per hour, which is pretty good. And there is another one of the Thunder Bay lines, Thunder Bay to Chicago, running the Hiawatha's with the Hiawatha line trains, or I forgot what the carriages are called. Already up to 56 miles per hour and continuing to accelerate. Now running parallel to the road, or roughly parallel to the road, heading towards Green Bay, and you can just about see Lake Michigan also on the right hand side, just behind the trees. Clear through here. Autosave in progress. Always ruins a moment, but you have to have it just in case things go wrong. Another one of the Thunder Bay lines. It says something road. The something road. Good speed through Thunder Bay. As long as we don't have to stop, we should be very, very good to pass through Thunder Bay, and it is clear. We should be able to pass through Thunder Bay at almost 70 miles per hour. Now I think this is the section where we're going to run into some trouble. The 2-track area, at the speed that we're going, the 2-track area is going to be interesting for us, because the other trains haven't caught up in speed yet. The Thunder Bay line, yes, that's fast enough. And there you go, there you have it, there's our first stop. And there's Lake Michigan over quite clearly now to the right hand side. And this is what I was worried about. So you may be looking to bring the tracks up to 4-track in a lot of areas to ensure that we can get the express trains going. Or just signal a lot closer, which might bunch up the trains a little bit more than I want though. Nevertheless, this train has rather good acceleration, so we don't have to worry too much about it stopping, as long as it doesn't have to stop consistently. Continuing to accelerate hard, back up to 35 miles per hour already. And remember, this is an uphill climb now. In fact, you could probably just tell that this is going uphill very slightly. And you can see we're probably going to get held at the next signal too, I think. as this train looks like that was held too. Yeah, no, we're clear. Okay, that's good. I was worried about getting held up at this signal. There's Lake Michigan. We are going to just pass over the edge of Lake Michigan, and you might be able to see Lake Superior over to your left hand side. So you can see the trains are getting bunched up a little bit. There is Lake Superior, and there is Lake Michigan. Actually, that's not Lake Superior, is it? That's actually part of Lake Michigan. You're not going to be able to see Lake Superior. Lake Superior is further up. That's wrong. Yeah, this is still part of Lake Michigan. Continuing along, now I can see the train that's causing us problems. Hopefully that's already switched onto the 4-track section, and then we should be clear to go all the way through. But as you can see, this is starting to get busy. And whilst busy trains are great, lines where we have to constantly stop are not. Coming up back to 70 miles an hour, which isn't too bad at all. But I feel we should have been able to be almost doing maximum speed at this point, had we not had to stop. We are clear though, so we're clear all the way into the station. You can see the freight train over on the left hand side. That one doesn't seem to be carrying wood anymore, which is concerning to me. We are going to stop in Sault Ste. Marie. I'm not going to have a look at how many passengers we're picking up. That's for another episode. Reaching a maximum speed of 78 miles per hour before hitting the brakes pretty hard to stop in Sault Ste. Marie. Now, it doesn't look like we're actually going to be picking up any passengers here. Oh, actually, I see a few. I'm not sure if they're for us, but there are a few passengers. From here, it's a straight on run to Ottawa in the Ontario province of Canada. That's going to be interesting because there are a few junctions that we need to go through, a few points. But hopefully it should be pretty smooth sailing all the way through. The only problem I have is there's one section of 2-track between Toronto and Ottawa that I haven't actually managed to sort out. So I don't know whether that's going to be causing us problems. That there is one of the Canadian circular trains. That's also going to be getting a replacement soon. And as you can see, the city is still building up, which is really good to see. Peeling off to the right is the Lake Michigan Loop that goes round to the Grand Rapids and then back around from the Grand Rapids to Chicago. Also has junctions or connections to Fort Wayne and towards Detroit. This bit of electrical line I need to get rid of. That's a very old signal too, just showing the age of this railway. But we are now clear and we are just going to go as fast as we possibly can. Going to be a bit bumpy here, and not too bad. And then we have standard 2-aspect signals right in front of us, showing us clear signal to pass through to the next block. Now, because of the speed of these trains, these blocks are a little bit bigger than the blocks that we're used to on the American side, but there are less cities to go through, so therefore the trains should be going faster all the way through. Already up above 60 miles per hour. And peeling off to the left at this junction, which I really like this junction, but peeling off to the left is the route that goes all the way round to the top of the map, round to Thunder Bay, going around Lake Superior. And you can see that one climbs a lot more steeply than this one. Whilst this one's going to go to the left and then go back to the right, that one is going to go to the left and then continue going to the left around the hill. There you go, you can just see it going off to the left and then continuing in that direction while we go to the right. And you can see the other junction for trains coming in the other direction right there too. And we should be clear all the way through this. We are 74 miles per hour. Now I wonder if we can reach 90. That would be quite good. It's a bit of a bump, but I'm sure nothing that the train can't handle. There's one of our brand new trains. That is the anti-clockwise Great Lakes train going past in all its splendour. 80 miles per hour. And still accelerating hard. Trying to go as fast as we possibly can. Passing through Sudbury now. Canadian Circular, which actually does stop at Sudbury. Now it looks like we might be stopped at the next signal unless we're clear to go through on a different line. I didn't see where that train was. Does this stay 4-track? That's the question. I can't remember whether this stays 4-track. If it doesn't, we are going to be stopped. At the moment we're catching up to that diesel train at very, very high speed. We are now doing 87 miles per hour, 88 miles per hour. We are almost at full speed. This is remarkable. A steam engine overtaking a diesel engine. As a matter of fact, there's another diesel engine coming the other way. Slow down slightly for this corner, down to 83 miles per hour once more, but still going very, very fast. Pennsylvania carriages. They would have looked good. Maybe I might switch to those. I might switch to those Pennsylvania carriages. And we have just overtaken a diesel train. Still continuing at maximum speed, 88 miles per hour. 90 again is the maximum for these trains, so we're going to see if it can reach 90. It cannot, because we are going to get stopped just momentarily. So once again we're going to be overtaken by that train that's going towards Toronto. So that's going over to Toronto. We are now heading to Ottawa. We just mistimed that ever so slightly. 5 seconds, that's all we needed, 5 extra seconds. So we lost all that speed. But that's okay. And now we're going to see, and we'll probably end this video once we get to Ottawa. And then the next part of the run will be in the next video. Autosaves really are annoying. Now going through a little bit of windy area of Canadian forest in the Ontario province. I think this is the Ontario province. It must be, because there's Lake Ontario on the border. There's the line that I'm worried about, because that's the line between Toronto and Ottawa. So this, if we're going to get held up, this is a good place for us, or a good chance for us to get held up. That train was slightly unfamiliar to me. But here we are, we're now reaching Ottawa. Thank you very much for watching. Please remember to hit the like button if you like this video, subscribe to the channel for more videos on Transport Fever Series 2 The Great Lakes. Leave a comment in the comments box below letting me know what you think. Don't forget to follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/ECGadget, and support me on Patreon, www.patreon.com/ECGadget. I would really appreciate your support. Series 3 is still in the works, but make sure you tune in the next episode to continue this journey from Ottawa all the way back to Chicago. I'll see you guys in that.